Okay, so I'm gonna record this entire thing using the replay mod, just because I think it's gonna be easier to see. So, starting off, the location I've chosen for this mob farm is a deep ocean. The reason for this is because we want every mob to spawn on the designated area. And you see, if we're over land, like, let's go over here, there are many caves. And we don't want that, so we're gonna build above the ocean. You would probably want to be about 200 blocks above the surface. I'm not gonna do that because I'm lazy. Where did I go? Well, I'm around here somewhere. So I'm just gonna go right above the surface of the ocean, which is fine. You might have to light up some caves. So starting off, I just go up a bit and I build a platform that is 21 by 21 blocks. Now, you don't actually have to do a platform that is that size. You could go smaller, you could go bigger. This is just the one I prefer because it looks nice. And also, the size of my iron farm is usually 21 by 21, so it fits in with the aesthetic. Just gonna have a sip of my Pepsi while we watch this. Now we start building the walls, and I'm doing this out of tinted glass because I just want you guys to be able to see. You can build it out of any solid block, doesn't matter. You technically don't have to build the walls, I just like doing it. I'm gonna show you something later that you can do instead of building the walls, but for now I'm just gonna build these. So, let's start with the first layer of the mob farm. We want to find the middle of the build up 2 blocks, and build a platform just like this with a dispenser in the middle, looking upwards. At this point, I did realize that I built something wrong, as you can see by me looking around, counting blocks. I built this side 1 block too short, so I'm just gonna go ahead and fix that real fast. I'll go ahead and speed this up a tiny bit more. Alright, there we go. Now we can build a platform. So we want to build out from each side of the dispenser about 7 blocks. There we go, fill that in. We're gonna have a roughly diagonal square shape. When you're done with the first layer, what you want to do is you want to go down a tiny bit and you want to put this observer right here so that the output is looking into this dispenser. And then you just repeat that for every single floor. So I'm just gonna let this guy run for a bit, and I'll be back when we are at the top floor. Alright, there we go. So I've decided to build only 5 floors on this one. You can build more. I think it should work up until like 10. At some point you can build so many spawning platforms that it doesn't matter anymore because there can only be so many mobs. But I think about 10 is probably optimal for this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have on the top floor 2 observers going up, so we have an observer on the top one instead of a dispenser. And then we're just gonna fill this in, build a whole roof. And now for the timer. And this one, again, I built wrong, so we're just gonna skip ahead a bit. You know, it's funny. I could do this way more professionally, but I choose not to. Which I find kind of interesting. Anyways, here we are. Alright. So this is what the clock looks like. And the clock decides when these dispensers are gonna fire out the water. It's really quite simple, actually. What we have are 2 hoppers facing into each other, with a number of blocks inside. Now you can choose how big this number is. It depends on how long you want between the waters being dispensed. Now I usually do 16. I found that 16 is a pretty good number. You can have 32, you can have 11, you can have 400, it doesn't matter, right? You choose. And then from each one of these hoppers, there's gonna be a comparator going into a block with a redstone dust. And this redstone dust is going to face into 2 sticky pistons, very important that they're sticky, with a redstone block between them. And that is the entire clock. So now if we unpause this, you see they're going to count, and then they're going to swap. And that's the clock. Now this is very sped up, but you get the point. Lastly, what I'm doing here is I'm just building up the walls so that everything is dark. Earlier I said that you don't have to build the walls. And what I meant by that is that you can actually just extend the roof. If you build the roof big enough, that's gonna make everything dark, so if you don't necessarily want a big box, you can have a big platform, and that's fine. Just make sure that you put the torches on top of here, because otherwise things are going to spawn. Next I'm gonna go inside over here. Actually, I think where did I go? Oh yeah, I went into spectator mode. As you can see, there are definitely a lot of mobs spawning. Like, they are spawning very quick. Because I forgot to put the water in. Or the killing mechanism. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put some water in each one of the corners. There we go. A water on the middle block, and then on the middle on each wall. So there are going to be a total of 9 water sources. And those are going to funnel all mobs into these 2x2 squares, where in a second, there we go, I put magma blocks, and this is how we kill them. Pretty simple, pretty easy. And now we have 4 areas where we need to pick up blocks, which I'm going to do by doing this in a second. There we go. The way I usually pick up blocks is just like this. I put 4 hoppers with rails on top of them, make a circle, and then I just put a bunch of hopper minecarts. Now, the advantage of doing it like this, right, is that if you have enough minecarts on a small enough area, they self-power. So these things are now spinning without getting powered, which is great. That is exactly what you want. And they will pick up every single block deposited into these chests. So now I'm gonna go ahead, and also I realized that I missed this, which is gonna affect the AFK result. But now I'm up there, I'm gonna be AFKing for about 10 minutes, and we're gonna come back, we're gonna look at the results. Which I've already done, because I'm recording this after the fact. So I know the answer, but you know, for effect, we're still gonna have a look at it. Right, so I didn't actually get the replay mod thing to work. I don't know why, I'm dumb. But here we are, here are the results from 10 minutes AFK in each one of these chests. So we have about, I would say, 2 full rows of items. This one should have been more, but again, I kind of forgot to place the pickup system, so half of the items have despawned, which is, you know, whatever. All in all, in total, this gave about 3,400 items per hour. Could be faster, you could probably double it up. But for me, that is way more than enough for a single player world, and I hope you enjoyed this style of presenting. I've been trying out a new way of doing it for each farm this past week or 2 weeks. I just want to, you know, test the water, see how it feels, see which one I want to stick with. Let me know in the comments down below. Anyways, that's gonna be it from me. Like if you liked the video, subscribe if you want to do that. We do have a Reddit and we have a Discord, make sure to join them, links are in the description. I'm gonna see you guys next time. Bye bye. I know I'm kind of stealing this segment from Mumbo Jumbo, but I'm gonna do this anyway. I kind of forgot to mention that you should put water buckets in the dispensers. I mean, you should probably understand that anyway, but in case you didn't, you should put water buckets in the dispensers. It doesn't matter if they're all in sync. Some water can be out, some water doesn't have to be out. Like, it doesn't matter as long as there's water in every single one of them. Also, this was fun. Recording and replay is actually a lot of fun because it's interesting to see yourself building something in third person while being able to move around and not just having a static time-lapse with like a camera account. It's different. I like it. Also, I didn't mention that this AFK platform that I used is about 80 blocks above the farm. I think it's either 80 or 92 blocks that you're supposed to be, but somewhere around there. I probably should have said that. It's quite important. The farm is not really gonna work if you don't do that.